Look, the result was expected. Lai was sort of leading the polling in the months leading up to this election. He's been the vice president of Taiwan for the last 4 years. He's been a politician here for decades. So look, he is very well known. He's got an interesting history. He's softly spoken. He's a former doctor, but he's seen as a real sort of wild card by Beijing, a bit of an unknown. Back in 2017, he made some sort of pretty inflammatory comments when he was sort of suggesting that he would work towards Taiwan's independence. Now, of course, he's since backtracked on those remarks. You can't sort of advocate for something like that here, or else it could sort of trigger, a more aggressive response from China. So look, he's a bit of an unknown. He succeeds Tsai Ing-wen, who she was leader for 8 years. She had a very disciplined approach to China. So it's going to be very interesting to see where he takes Taiwan.
And what do voters think? Was it a decisive victory compared to when his predecessor was voted in?
Look, it absolutely wasn't. You can view this result two ways. Look, it was a good result for Lai and his party, the Democratic People's Party, or the DPP. They've won a third term in office. Now, this has never happened before in Taiwan's history, a political party getting 3 consecutive terms. So, look, they've done all right. But at the same time, he got 40% of the vote. At the last election, they had 50%, so he doesn't have an absolute majority. And the big setback for the DPP is that they've lost parliamentary control. They don't have control of the legislature. So he's going to now have to work with the two opposition parties sort of to get any legislation through.
Nevertheless, what message does this win send to Beijing, who is watching very closely what happens next? What is at stake for the Chinese government?
Yeah, look, this is a real blow to Beijing. I mean, the fact that people of Taiwan have elected the party that is the least friendliest towards Beijing for the third time in a row. So, look, it really sends a clear message to China. The Taiwanese people do not want to be brought under communist control. So, China's been trying to influence the elections here for years. It's been trying to intimidate Taiwan. It's been stepping up military action. So all those actions have really failed. The Taiwanese people have ignored China's warning that this result could lead to war, and they've decided to install the party that China, or the new president, a man that China regards as a troublemaker. So it's going to be interesting to see how China responds now.
Well, the warnings continue. What do you make of Beijing's response so far, particularly towards countries such as the US, which has sent messages of congratulations after the result?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, China's been critical of countries like the US. The Chinese ambassador in Australia has been critical of the Albanese government in terms of the way they're responding to this result. But we were sort of expecting this. I mean, I would say it's been a fairly restrained response from Beijing so far. They haven't sort of stepped up any military drills here. Nothing like that is going on. The most significant thing they've done so far was today when the Pacific island nation of Nauru switched its diplomatic allegiances from Taiwan to Beijing. So, Nauru is a very small country, but this is a real blow to Taiwan. Taiwan's now only really got 12 sort of formal diplomatic allies. So China's sort of working behind the scenes there to get these countries to switch allegiances.
Are more countries expected to follow suit? I mean, this really presents an uphill battle for Mr. Lai from day dot.
Well, it does. I mean, Taiwan's main goal here is to get as more international recognition as much as it can. So it sort of seems to be going backwards. Taiwan's foreign ministry had a press conference here this afternoon, and officials there said they didn't expect any more countries to follow suit, but they probably would say that in public. This did seem to take everyone, including Australia, by surprise, so it's unclear who else will follow at this stage.
As you mentioned before, the Albanese government congratulated Mr. Lai on his appointment and said Australia will continue its relationship with Taipei. Is anything expected to change under this new leadership in terms of bilateral relations?
Yeah, no, I think at this stage, Australia's relationship will not change at all. It's the same political party in power. Anthony Albanese, he was very cautious in his comments today, as you have to be as a leader when you're talking about Taiwan. He said his government would continue to work with Taiwan, but they would sort of continue to respect this so-called one China policy, where you recognise Taiwan's sovereign government, but you don't sort of formally recognise its independence and upset China too much. So look, he's been very careful here. I mean, Taiwan. There's a lot of things Taiwan would like Australia to do. They would like us to form a free trade agreement. They would like us to back Taiwan's application to join the CPTPP trade pact, but at this stage, Australia is not going down that path.
Michael Smith, great to talk. Thanks for your insights. Appreciate your time.
Thanks very much.